What
last
else we
thing
got
for
on
us
the
to be mad
agenda?
about? Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm still confused by the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a hater on everything. So I'm going to the positive first. The positive was it was better than last year. And they're clearly trying. But I was very confused by how I was watching the Pro Bowl on social clips on Wednesday night. And then so I was like, oh, I missed all the events. Like, what's going on? And then I saw the ads for that. Those events were happening Thursday night.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me.
And so I got really confused. I was like, okay, so it's pre-taped and they spoiled it. So I didn't watch any of it because I was like, oh, I saw Justin Tucker with tic-tac-toe. I saw the push maybe. I don't remember, but I saw some things where I was like, oh, are they warming up? Are they practice? And then I was like, oh no, it's actually already done. And they released it. And then the other thing that was weird was that they did all these events with no fans.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like they rented a dome and then set up in the dome and then had all these skills events with like no fans around. And then the game had fans. But I was just like, I mean, by the time the game rolled around on Sunday, I just didn't even care anymore and I didn't watch it because I was like, I was so confused about what was coming out. And then I saw they redid some of the same events that were indoors outside, like the gauntlet type one where you had to like push someone and do all that the stuff. And then but I also got confused because they were posting clips of them doing that gauntlet event outside, but then they already posted clips of that gauntlet event inside. But in the middle of that, they were also posting clips of previous Pro Bowls, like skills competitions and stuff.
That was my issue.
So then I got confused and I was like, oh, is this outdoor one from a last year's event? And I was looking, I was like, no, that's stadium. That's not Allegiant. That's where it was last year. I was like, oh, that's outside. And so like, dude, I was all over the place trying to figure out how the Pro Bowl worked. And like, I'm sure the events themselves could have probably been pretty fun to go to and stuff. But like from the social side and like how I like received all the content, I was confused as hell about what days things actually happened.
I was the same exact way. I was coming across clips that were, I think, from last year, but I couldn't tell if they were like, it was like Tuesday night and then or Monday night or something, and I was seeing dodgeball clips and I was like, did they already do this? Did this already happen? And I looked and I was like, nope. Oh, that was from last year, and that was from the year Jarvis Landry was there. And I was like, okay, so they're just posting old stuff. And then as the week rolled on, it was the same thing, just like stuff that already happened, or well, obviously stuff that already happened, but like as in last year's, 2 years ago, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with the present one until I think the thing that I knew exactly what was going on was when the game was played, and that was yesterday. So I couldn't keep up.
Devin, did you see any of it?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. This whole last week, I have been very disconnected from football. I saw a couple of clips on social, but I really had no idea what they were from and when they were doing stuff and like what they were even doing. You know, I saw some clips of like the tic tac toe and like the pushing thing and like the best catch thing that they like filmed. I don't know. The whole thing was like really confusing to me. I'm sure if I looked into it, I could figure it out, but it didn't. So for like a casual fan, like I was this past week, very confused, not interested, just kind of weird, honestly. And I just didn't know what was happening. So I don't really know anything about this year's Pro Bowl.
Yeah. And so with specifically the kick-tac-toe, I got confused because so I saw it on Wednesday and I saw them post some clips of Justin Tucker doing it. And so in my head, I was like, oh, so the Pro Bowl event is Thursday. And so I was like, oh, they're posting stuff from last year. But I was like, oh, but I was confused because I made a post like a month ago about the new events for this Pro Bowl. And one of them was kick-tac-toe. And so then I got confused in my head about like, what if I had my information right and stuff. And then when I was watching Pat McAfee the next morning, he was like, yeah, they did spoil their own stuff because they pre-recorded it. And then I was like, oh, so that actually was for this year's Pro Bowl. That wasn't last year's. That was this year's, but they just released it on social the day before it actually was shown live.
It's so weird. They must have just been like, no one's actually gonna watch this live.
Yeah, I do. And like, as a socials person, there's like a feeling I get when you cop out on a post. There's certain kinds of posts where you're like, oh, I don't want to post this, but I know it's going to do well. And it feels like a cop out and it's not original and stuff. And so when I see the amount of times that Bleacher Report and or actually, you know what, ripped to Sports Unlimited because they folded.
Yep.
But ESPN, all the big ones, every single fucking year, we will see the same clip of Manning doing the skills accuracy thing from 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year they will post Larry Allen doing the bench press. Although they are not going to have bench press in the thing because probably guys are too afraid to tear a pec. And like, whatever, I get it. If they don't want to risk certain events because they're high strain, like doing the 40 or doing bench press and stuff, like contracts and stuff, I completely understand why they don't want to do it. But I'm so sick of basically only seeing clips from the early 2000s Pro Bowl events and then the last couple of years. It's just, and then, they'll throw in the final snap between Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning when Jeff Saturday was on the Packers, but he took a snap for the AFC with Peyton Manning in the Pro Bowl. So they could have one snap together before Jeff retired. And like, I could go on and on about this stuff, but I freaking hate modern social media companies and the amount of garbage that they post. Like, on this day, 1 year ago, Giannis dunked it. And it's just like, shut the fuck up and just post new stuff. Like, and it's literally the funny thing is it's at the point now where we cannot decipher what is new and what is old. So it's like, this took me in like a whole nother direction because that whole big conversation about posting old stuff again. I would love to get into ESPN where they're like, hey, here's our social calendar for the year. And they'll post something and they'll probably be like, oh, don't forget to tag that post with, we're going to post the exact same thing. Like, they have to have some kind of system that notifies them to put these posts out in a year from now and what cadence or something. Like, I have no clue how the back end of that works. And then posting these clips and tagging it from like a cool event happened today. Make sure to write that down for 3 years from now so we can say 3 years ago, Kevin Durant won his second MVP or whatever bullshit. But yeah, the fact that like it confused the hell out of us the way they did Pro Bowl this year, it was all over the place. So I tried to not be negative, but man, the NFL is one of the biggest media things in the world. How can I not figure this out? Done with it.
And the funny thing is, it's almost like the Pro Bowl, the way that it's tailored to, they talked about it on the radio I was listening to, and they're just like, the Pro Bowl seems to be tailored towards kids now. Like, it's definitely more younger generations with all of like the colors and all of the events that they do. You would think that the socials would be their primary focus if that is indeed what they're going for. There's no really telling who it's for, because I don't think the NFL even knows. I don't know if my stuff's being all wonky. It sounds a little finicky in my ears right here, but yeah, like the NFL doesn't even know who the Pro Bowl's for anymore. So it's like, I don't know. They got to figure something out.
Did you guys understand the best catch?
No, I was gonna bring that up too, because it's like, how are they gonna do a best catch? Like, what are the ramifications? If they're not gonna do it on the spot. I mean, Puka recorded his. Obviously, it was all pre-recorded. His was in like a lake, and he was wakeboarding, and he was having someone throw him the ball. So it's like, at least like when they're doing a dunk competition in the NBA All-Star, it's all happening at the same time, and you have to be clever about how you're going to do it. Puka could be out on a boat. He could be jet skiing behind a boat, catching a football, and then like they could bring in Jamar Chase, and he could like skydive and then catch a football 500 feet up in the air and then pull a parachute and land on the ground. And it's like, is that the best catch? Is that what we're doing now? Is that how this works? I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, Devin, do you want to say something? I know you're delayed.
I mean, I was just kind of going on the same thing about the best catch thing. It's just kind of how weird that was, because I saw like the Puka Nacua like jet ski catch, and I don't know if you guys saw the catch or if you mentioned it, but it was like not that cool to catch in my opinion. But like, what do I know? But
No,
Yeah, I don't know. The way they're
not
doing
at all.
everything is just weird to me. It's just it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I miss the old Pro Bowl. I get why they don't do it, but I do miss it still. So
There's certain things that the gauntlet thing's cool, the kick-tac-toe is cool. There's certain things that like they're figuring out, but like the best catch this year, the best catch for the last two. Well, there's been, I don't know, it was so weird because there was like some catches were indoors on like the mat where they're like catching it through their legs. And then other ones like David Njoku's was like he did a backflip off a rope into water. But like he
I
didn't
didn't
even catch it. He went 0 for 3. He didn't make the catch.
I didn't even see
Um,
anyone else's other than Puka's, so like if that goes to show.
Same.
yeah. I don't know, man. They like it's you know what, the Mannings are involved and stuff. I trust that I trust that they are going to make it better because they want it to succeed. But I don't know how they take such big swings and they miss so hard. If that makes sense.
I'm putting a bet down right now that 3 years time, the Pro Bowl is going to be brought to you by Nickelodeon and the Kids' Choice Awards.
Maybe.
could be.
It's what seems like what it's going towards right now.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I'm just tired.